That's a big enough spike.
This is Brian.
This is Andrew, and welcome back to the Jam Factory podcast. It's episode 2. We ended up making another one. Surprise, surprise. First topic this week, we're going to talk about, some of the more modern, like shred guitars, like the Jacksons, Deans and stuff like that.
Yeah, like Jacksons and Ibanez's, and even going more modern. Those are kind of like, I'd say those are the inception of the modern guitars. But I feel like modern guitars
Ibanez
today,
especially.
yeah, I feel like a lot of modern guitars now are probably, I would classify more as probably like Kiesel and Strandberg and Ormsby. Those kind of guitars too, especially today. But
the Charvels and even Chapman to a certain extent. Chapmans are shred guitars, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. I think my favorite out of all of those will probably is probably Jackson. Charvel, I mean, Jackson and Charvel are pretty close, but I still kind of classify them a bit differently. So I'd probably go Jackson, Charvel, then Ibanez.
Yeah, Jackson, Charvel, Ibanez. Okay. I'd probably just swap Ibanez and Charvel. Only main purpose is because I haven't really played a whole lot of Charvels. I played like one, and that was just pure luck that it happened to me in the store that day. Whereas I think Ibanez are a bit more. Me personally, I'm not a super shredder. Like, I like making the attempt to shred, even though I'm absolute dog shit at it. But then when I don't want to do that, Ibanez have like a bit more like different models and stuff that suit more my type of slower, not so octopusy playing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like they're more contemporary models and stuff like that.
Right.
I like Ibanez. I feel like I'm just not a whole. I wish they did they're starting to do it. I think from what I've seen, from this most recent year, they're really starting to expand their woods and stuff like that. But I'm not a huge basswood body fan personally. I like them, but I prefer, my favorite wood is alder for sure, because I feel like it's just it's super snappy and punchy, and
Yeah, that's what Fender makes all their stuff out of, right? The Telecasters and the Stratocasters.
They make it out of,
or is that mahogany?
It's alder, and then ash is all Fender.
Oh, ash, yeah.
And then mahogany is Gibson, and then Jacksons are usually either alder or mahogany, and then they have I know Charvel has one or two basswoods, but I don't think Jackson has a whole lot. Well, I think they're lower end stuff. That's the thing with basswood, is it's either on really low end, it's pretty expansive. It can be on really low end guitars, or it can be on Ernie Ball JP guitars, And, I don't know. I like them for how balanced. I like not alder. I like basswood for how balanced it is, but overall it's just kind of boring, you know what I mean? It doesn't have a characteristic, a nice characteristic. It's kind of just bland. But I guess that's why a lot of shredders and a lot of dudes who run, X effects and stuff like that is, or just more digital, or a lot of effects, is because you can have a bland signal and then just change it up with effects.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They do a lot of EQing and stuff with people like whatever the Deftones guy's name is. I forget, Chino or something.
Chino's the singer. It's Stefan.
Does he not play guitar as well?
Oh well, yeah, Chino.
I thought Chino played guitar too.
He plays guitar every now, or he plays it on some songs. I don't think he's he goes back and forth between playing guitar and singing.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I've just only seen like a couple live performances of them. I don't know. But yeah, someone like him who does use, well, not him, the other guy. What's his Stefan? Steven?
Stefan, yeah.
Yeah, like he would probably use something with a bit more of a bland, bread sandwich type of signal. So it like, because he uses those crazy axe effects and stuff, and the BIOS and the positive grid and stuff. Whereas someone with a very distinct sort of thing like, I don't fucking know. I don't know, Jimmy Page, even though he's not Shredder, obviously. He has a tone that's associated with him. Or Van Halen. Van Halen's probably an easier one, Eddie Van Halen, because he has a very specific sound that goes with his Frankensteins that he makes. That, like, he doesn't use a whole lot of really freaky, weird effects. He uses, like, a flanger and a wah every now and again. But his guitar is where the tone comes from, rather than a bunch of EQing and, gain pedals and stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of how I like it. I prefer just having my, that's another thing I've been really doing is, like, I've been kind of taking a lot of the pedals off my pedal board. Like, I only really have delay, chorus, reverb, a compressor, and a boost. You know what I mean? Like, I really am only kind of going down to, like, well, I don't really need the chorus, but I like the chorus because it's the magic whatever from Earthquaker.
Oh, yeah.
The Rainbow Machine, that's what it's called. I don't know why.
Rainbow Machine, yeah.
Yeah, and that's just a fun pedal, and I just want to keep it on there for fun. But I'm just kind of cutting back because it's like there's so much wrong that, like, I don't know. I don't use a whole lot of effects. Like, I'm not, like, in, like, a crazy shoegaze band or something like that where they just pile on tons of effects and reverb and shit. I just need, like, a certain couple things, and then I'm good to rock and roll. But I'd rather just have, like, a nice, a nice thing where it's just, like, I have a solid guitar, a solid amp. That, if I roll up to a show and my pedal board's broken, I can still roll with that instead of, like, oh man, my fucking axe effects or something's broken and I can't, you can't play the show because everything is on there. That's the
fuck.
Yeah, that's the biggest downside to all of that kind of stuff. Is it's just like, if it goes down, it's done. You know what I mean? And I feel like for like people like Periphery who can, like, afford or, get two for free, like, one in a backup for free, it's fine. But if it's, because they can just upload the backup. But if you're like, if you're someone like you and I who aren't, like, really, we're not rich or get shit for free, it's like,
yeah,
if we, our $3,000 axe effects, if it goes down, it's done. We can't.
It's game over.
Yeah, which is a scary, scary thing. I don't know. I kind of, like, I'm just getting to the point where it's just, like, it's less is more kind of thing, and less is just better, in my opinion, a lot of the time. Because, like...
Yeah, honestly. Have you seen the gear run... what's it called? Rig rundown with Death Heaven?
Mm-hmm.
With, what's his name? Shiva and Carrie? Because I would have assumed they would use a ridiculous amount of effects from, like, the crazy stuff they do on, like, Sunbather and, well, especially now the new one that just recently came out. But he's just like, yeah, I have a distortion, a reverb, a chorus, and a weird organ string thingy that makes it sound kind of cool. I'm like, what? That's it?
Yeah, and I cut.
He's like, yeah, I just.
Oh no, you go.
He's just like, yeah, I run most of the gain through the amp and it sounds fine. And his Dunnable guitar that he got from Sasha is just, I think it just has one volume knob because that's all he wanted.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it has one pickup.
Yeah. I really kind of like having, or like, I really like kind of like in a mix for sure is having, like, the rhythm be very, like, just amp and stuff. It's kind of, I guess it's just the wet and the dry kind of thing where I like having, the rhythm guitar is pretty dry, it's pretty cutthroat, maybe just throw a boost on there and just have amp distortion, and then have the lead guitar with the reverbs and the delays and stuff, because it makes it so much bigger, or like, like you get the cool expansiveness and then the clarity.
Yeah, because I think that's what made stuff like Alice in Chains and like Soundgarden sound so like big. It's just they had just really thick rhythm rhythm sections, and then the leads they would just do all the like weird, like, you know, you listen to something like Black Hole Sun with that weird, I think it's a Leslie rotary clone that makes it do that kind of weird kind of noise at the beginning. And then Alice in Chains do the weird, like, talk box kind of, not talk box, what do you call it? Like vocoder? I don't know how to pronounce it. Kind of sound with the guitars where you, like, sing the note almost.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think most of the pedals are just call it a talk box. I really want to get one of those. I don't even care. Those are just so cool.
Oh, yeah.
Just the wow.
Yeah, like the ones with the tube that they used to, that like Peter Frampton always used, and Pink Floyd used a lot during like the Animals album with the pig noises and stuff. It's so cool.
Yeah. I don't know, and it's just like I feel like you can get like crazy, really atmospheric things without having, you know, shit tons of pedals. I feel like, don't get me wrong, I feel like having shit tons of pedals is cool. I don't know if it's me, but it just doesn't sound good to me. Like, or like what with maybe it's just my playing style or just like my tone, but if having like a bunch of effects doesn't sound good to me, I like kind of just having, you know, like just like 5 or 6 pedals, and I feel like that really gets me, you know, gets me through like the bases of the tone, you know, most of the tones I really want to get.
Yeah, the only reason I would have multiple pedals is just to have, you know, those always on pedals. Like I would have just a reverb always on, because, you know, having no reverb sounds weird a lot of the time. Or even like, you know, I don't know, I can't think of anything else. Like maybe like a compressor, I would always have it on, or a buffer or something. I would just leave it on forever and then click on and off the distortion of choice whenever I wanted it. You know, I'll probably have like something weird like a, you know, Russian big muff or something with a, you know, Iron Horse, you know, so I can kind of switch between 2 types of distortion, you know.
Yeah, I have a compressor. I usually just use the compressor for the clean channel, just to, you know, keep kind of those harsh frequencies down a bit with the Strat. And then I have the Maxon OD808, which I pretty much just leave always on a distortion channel, because it boosts the front end, and especially with the single coils, it gives it like a nice just like cut and just makes it sound a bit thicker. And then I want to get another. My noise gate broke, so I haven't been using a noise gate for a long time, and I'm not a huge fan of a noise gate. But if you're cranking your amp up, you kind of just need it overall, because just it, you know, it just goes insane if you don't.
Yeah. Yeah, you really do need the noise gate once you're cranking it, or else you're just getting squealing constantly.
Yeah, squealing and 60 cycle hum and all that other stuff, but it just sounds so good. But I need to get a noise gate. I'm just going to get the ISP Decimator again, because that's a great noise pedal, and it served me well while I had it. It just got, I think I just clobbered it so much from using it so much that it just finally kicked the bucket. Or, well, it still works, it's just kind of messed up. You know what I mean? Like, it's either like no gate or all gate. So it's just fucked up, but it'll still technically turn on. I don't know. I pretty much, whenever I run a gate, I have it to where it's just like I only have it to where it really cuts out some, or, you know, a decent amount, or like a decent amount of the hiss and the 60 cycle hum, and then besides that, I try and roll it back as much as I can, because like if you roll it too much, you can really hear the gate just go like you'll be like cha-cha-chunk, 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 and it's weird sounding, and I don't really like using like a pedal gate when I'm recording. I'll just either I either won't use a gate, or I'll just use a like the gate on like on the dot, or, you know, like just use a gate plug, or, you know, a noise reduction plugin.
Right, yeah. That usually does the job well enough, especially if you're making something kind of noisy anyway, and it kind of disguises it a little bit with like a shit ton of distortion and stuff. Yeah.
I don't know. I need to get more in the realm of plugins. I don't use a whole lot of plugins, if any, really. I just pretty much usually just throw on a compressor and EQ on the vocals, and that's, like I compress. I usually throw like a compressor and distortion on a bass tone, because I just go direct with a bass usually, because I don't know. I don't need, I feel like you can get a passable thing with most plugins with a bass, and then a compressor and an EQ on the vocal, and then I usually kind of throw a compressor on the master bus, just to like kind of keep the frequencies kind of even going out.
Right, yeah, kind of calm it down a bit.
And I think it sounds really good for me. Some people are kind of like, I don't know, some people either throw so many effects on there or just nothing, and I feel like just having like just the basics, what you need, just really, really works. I guess I'm just kind of like just use what you need and throw away the other stuff. But there's some people, like, I know, like, the dude, like, I know, like, the Red Hot Chili Peppers and, like, John Mayer, they'll have, like, 40 pedals, and, like, they'll be like, I use this one for one song, this one for, like, 5 seconds in another song, and it's like, if that's what helps you get through a show and makes you, helps you with your tone or whatever, go for it. But I feel like that's just kind of like, it's either eating up your signal from your amp, because you want to try and have as little cable and as little shit messing with your amp, or the signal going from your guitar to your amp as possible. But if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But for me, it's just like, I want to have as little, for one thing, as little problems as possible, and just as hot a signal as I can get to the amp.
Yeah, I do. John how do you pronounce his name? The Red Hot Chili Peppers man. I can kind of see that, because you listen to a Pepper song and it's like something as simple as like Danny California. You have that kind of jangly, chunky kind of clean tone for the beginning part, and then that really grungy chorus bit, and then you have the weird flanger, I think, for the solo part. So that's one song. That's already 3 effects you need. So I guess it's just the style of music they play. They try to, mixed up with effects and stuff, instead of doing the, old tried and true and just playing with the actual amp settings instead of just adding a shit ton of pedals, which, I don't know, works for some people.
Yeah, I was actually surprised to learn that he uses, or well, it's not John Frusciante anymore, but the new dude pretty much just uses John Frusciante's rig. But yeah, he uses a Marshall Jubilee and a Marshall JMP, which I was really surprised about, because it like his clean tones usually sound like Fender clean, like they don't really sound like a Marshall clean, which that was a really weird thing that I learned from that rig rundown. It was crazy.
Was that from a rig rundown?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I don't know. It's difficult. I feel like for me, if I needed a bunch of effects, I'd probably go digital. But for the things I need, I don't know. I go back and forth, like I said in the last episode, because you can do a lot of switching. You can do a lot more with that for less money, but at the same time, it's like I don't use a whole lot of pedals at this, too. So it's like, why have that much stuff if you're using like, if you're barely scratching the surface, then it's kind of just like, I don't know. For me, I feel like it's probably makes more sense to use the real thing, but at the same time, the switching option is really what is really starting to sell me on the digital stuff, is because you can just do so much crazy switching stuff and you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, you don't have pedals breaking, and the cables, those stupid little patch cables breaking every 5 minutes.
Yeah, and you can spend like a grand on like a Line 6 LT, or you can spend probably like $1,400 to $1,500 on like a good, or I could get like a Boss switching system for like, I think it's like $700 or $800, and then get like I'll have to get like a MIDI switcher box, to switch my amp because my amp doesn't have MIDI. And then on top of that, including all the pedals, it would be like, it's going to be like $1,500 and stuff when I could just get the Line 6 LT, have all of this stuff, just get like a little MIDI switcher thing, and that's all you have to do. And you can switch an insane amount of stuff.
Then you're set. Yeah, then you're set and you're ready to go.
Yeah, and I don't know, I really, from what I've recently, like some recent knowledge that I've got about Line 6, the Helix, I'm really sold on that over like the Axe-Fx and the Kemper, because what the Line 6 does is it does this thing called snapshots. So all of your presets are pre-buffered in, or not are preloaded. So you can switch from, like, if I'm gonna switch to clean to dirty, there's no like with the Axe-Fx and the Kemper, there's one like millisecond of like having to load the preset in, but it's all of the stuff is preloaded on the Axe-Fx through the snapshot thing. So it's just you're switching everything, and there's no second, there's no buffer at all. It's just seamless, which that's why I would really, if I'm gonna go digital, I'm probably gonna go Line 6. And also I feel like the Kemper sounds the best amp wise, but at the same time you can load all of your own cab IRs into the Helix, so you can get a pretty good tone out of it too.
Right.
That would easily, set yourself for live. And also, like, with that is like, if my amp goes down, God forbid, I can use the Helix going into the board to get through a show.
Yeah, it would do the job while you're, because obviously you wouldn't want to like cancel and have to go try to buy new gear at the last second. It would get you, basically it would get you through a show. It would, for just one night. I mean, it wouldn't sound incredible, but what can you do?
And also you don't want to be that guy who's just going up to random bands being like, hey, can I borrow your amp real quick? It's like, dude, really?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, that reminds me of seeing Converge this past week. I tried to pay attention to what Kurt was using. He actually had Marshalls up there, which was interesting.
That might
wasn't expecting to see Marshall.
Yeah, that might be
I was expecting like
that might be
not orange.
Oh, the Bad Cat,
maybe. That or he uses Friedman sometimes, doesn't he?
I think so, probably, because Friedmans are just amazing amps. I think I wouldn't be surprised if it's probably he was using Backline. I don't know. That's kind of weird though, because like I wonder how much the tariff, or like how much it would cost to bring your. Would it cost? I don't know. I've never been outside of the country before. Does it cost money to like move your stuff from like the U.S. to Canada?
How do you mean, like crossing the border?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure. It depends on. It's like certain things cost money. Like you can't exceed a certain like value of thing. So if he brought like a bunch of valuable shit, he probably wouldn't be able to bring it through without some sort of like. They would probably have to get some sort of note or something from the record label that let them do that, or like some sort of the tour manager might have to talk to the customs officials to let them cross the border with all their gear. Because I know you're not allowed to bring like up to a certain like market value amount of stuff into the country without some sort of check or whatever. So I mean, yeah, if he brought all of his home God City Studio stuff, he'd probably run into the trouble unless he got something from Epitaph that let them do it. Whatever, it doesn't matter. They sounded awesome. I don't really care.
Yeah. That's another thing is like, that's a big thing that I've also been thinking about, is kind of moving back to Marshall, because like pretty much Backline is a Marshall, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's this. God, I can't remember the band name, but they used to use like 5150s and all that other stuff, and they were just like, yeah, we switched over to Marshalls because it's just like it's easier and all, like because that's just what you get for backline, and also Marshall just sounds really good. I mean, pretty much anything's built off of a Marshall circuit almost.
Yeah, honestly, you can't really go wrong with a Marshall unless you're doing something really weird like tech death or whatever.
Yeah, a lot of those. It's really weird to me to see all those tech death dudes with like oranges and stuff. I mean, I guess I know Orange endorses a lot of people. Endorses a lot of people, but like it's just so weird to like look at like a tech death band with an Orange, because Orange to me screams like hardcore and doom metal, not not weird tech genty stuff.
Yeah. Oh god. But yeah, Jesus Christ, they sounded so good. The bass was ridiculous on the what's the name? Nate, right? Or is it Ben? Which one's which?
I think Nate's the drummer.
Is Nate the drummer?
Pretty sure.
Okay. Either way, Nate or Ben, one of them, whatever. His tone sounded like damn sludgy as hell. Just they played Trigger, just do 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 do. Like that was ridiculous. The whole venue shook. It was insane. And they played I think they opened with Reptilian, and the the drummer snapped a sick like a minute into the song. Like I was just because I was in a position to where I couldn't really see Kurt and I couldn't really see Jacob, so I was just like, fuck it, whatever, I'll look at the drummer. And so of course he's like an octopus, he's going all over the place, and then I just see I think he hit the crash or the snare or something, and I see splinters like flying to the sky. I'm like, oh shit, he broke a stick already. And he just like,
yeah, that was this. Oh, sorry.
Ow, fuck. I just whacked my hand on the corner of the table. Jesus Christ. That hurt. Anyway.
Yeah, that was the same thing with Cult Leader, was like they just were so fucking loud. Like it literally shook the venue. Like I could hear I could feel like my chest and my chest should be like,
yeah.
It's insane.
God. Such a cool feeling.
Oh yeah, it's so badass. See, it's interesting because like I remember my first show. It's a little embarrassing, but I saw like Motionless in White Asking Alexandria, and I think it was them, Whitechapel, this one weird band, and then this band called Polyphia, which is like this weird shred metal band. This is before they got popular, so they were even more cringy. But like the kick in a lot of those like metalcore bands is so abrasive that like it was just like it just was not like it was hurting my chest. Like it was just like ugh.
Oh yes, like I don't
weird.
like this. Stop it. No, but theirs was just doof, doof. It was like just thunder in your chest, like almost like that sound of like a boxer hitting a punching bag, one of those hanging ones. Just doof, doof, doof. Oh, it was so awesome.
Yeah, I love that. When I saw Mastodon, they sounded so good. And like again, watching the drummer Braun, just no problem. He's just sitting perfectly still, and his arms are just freaking out, and then you can just he's just singing beautifully while his arms are just going insane. I don't get it. Like I can do beats and stuff, like, but I'm definitely no drummer by any means. But it's amazing to just see that realm and just to see like someone just go that insane and not even think about it.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Just those people are they're like an octopus on the drums. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and like this might be a little controversial, but like I like Braun Daly and like the drummer to Converged and like especially the drummer to Dillinger Escape Plan. I think it's Billy something or Blake or
Yeah,
something. I can't remember.
I think it's Blake.
Yeah, I think it's Blake. I feel like they're way more like. To me, they're better than the drummer to Rush because they're just like, they're technical, they're loud. Like that's the other thing is like they're just so loud and like you can really feel the drums. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It's crazy. I have a lot of respect for them. And then cause like I don't know, like and then like just I don't know. It's so nice. Like since I'm a guitar player, it's so easy to like be like, you know, jerk off looking at guitar players playing live, being, oh my god, you're amazing. But it's nice to like look outside of that and be like, holy shit, the drums are insane, or even on the rarest occasion, oh my god, the bass is awesome.
Oh yeah. I mean I noticed that a bit, maybe a bit more than you do since I play bass kind of. You know, when I can get my hands on one, I guess. But yeah, even sometimes like when I was watching Converge, I was watching Jacob a lot. I was just like, god damn, this guy's nuts. Like he's just, when he wasn't like doing like ridiculous stage antics, but he was screaming his ass off. And he sounded really good. Holy shit. Cuz he does that, you know, heinous metal thing of cupping the mic, but it still sounds good. It doesn't sound really like Bane talking into a cup. But yeah, I don't know. It sounds really good. And he was belting out those lyrics. Holy shit.
Yeah, the thing with cupping the mic is it's very rare when like I feel like Jacob Bannon and a couple other people can pull it off because like their voice is just so trebly and nasally as it is, so it just makes it work. But yeah, some bands whenever they do like the cupping of the mic, it's just like, oh my god, please stop. I don't know. It's definitely the rarity when someone sounds good cupping the mic.
Yeah, otherwise you're just like, stop it. I have to call the police.
Yeah, it just sounds I don't get the appeal. Like I get the appeal of like holding the mic that way cuz it's comfortable, but at the same time it's like it sounds so bad, just like you don't need to look cool every time.
Yeah. I actually it was weird how they structured the show. Well, not really weird. It kind of made sense. Amon-Ra went first, of course, because they're, you know, the supporting act, and there was Converge, and there was Neurosis. And Amon-Ra, they put on a really good show. Like, god damn. Like, I didn't know any of the songs, and I wasn't, like, you know, moshing and shit, but, like, I was just like, damn, this is cool. Because, like, they wove all the songs into one another. Like they had like transition set pieces and stuff. I was like, this is cool. Like, obviously I don't know any of this, but like these are some jams. And the guy had some sick tones and stuff. And the singer, I think it's a symptom of they had like the bass or something's too loud or something, but the singer was kind of hard to hear. But even so, he sounded good. Like despite that, his voice wasn't pissing me off or anything. Like, he still sounded good, and the show as a whole sounded good. And they put on a better show than fucking Neurosis did.
Yeah, that's great when you get like an open or like a really good opener. Like whenever I saw Mastodon Russian Circle open up, it was Mastodon.
Ooh.
What's it called? Eagles of Death Metal, and then Russian Circle.
Okay.
Like,
two out of those three are okay.
Yeah. Russian Circles was really good. Like, I was surprised because I never really heard of them before. I know that the bass player to, I believe, Botch, which I love Botch. They're really, really cool and insane band. And then I saw Russian. Oh yeah. And then I saw Russian Circle, and I was like, holy shit! This is they're a really cool instrumental band, and like they have all this cool stuff. And then Eagles of Death Metal Blade, and it was just like, oh my god. Brent Hines opened up with them, and he was playing the BB King signature 335, like the one with the
Lucille?
crazy dial on it. Yeah, the Lucille model.
Yeah.
And it sounded good, and I was like, oh hell yeah. And then whenever he left, I was just, and they started playing, and I was just like, oh my god, please. It just got so boring. And then like and like they were using orange, but they sounded so thin. It was weird. But yeah, pretty much
weird.
the only highlight was the Brent Hines opening up with them, and then they played Moon Age Daydream by David Bowie, and that was the only 2 highlights.
Huh. Yeah. God, I wish there were highlights. Fucking Neurosis, man. Jesus.
What was up with
sounded
them?
They sounded good, but I was just like, this is boring to me. I don't like this. Like, it's kind of stupid that Converge toured with 2 like sludge metal bands, basically. Because I mean, you know, Converge are super high energy hardcore punk shit, and then to be fair, Amon Ra started off great, because they like, it was almost like this slow bubbling build, because I like knew what was coming. So like they're kind of slow, just headbanging, you know, doomy type stuff was like, all right, here we go. And then Converge comes on, and like I just shit my pants. And then, yeah, Neurosis was just the metaphorical realization that I still had shit in my pants, and I was just like, I don't like this anymore.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like it needs to be a build up. Yeah, Converge really should have went like last, because I feel like, when I saw Dillinger, it was like this weird kind of cool tech, like they're actually really cool. It was like this I can't remember what they're called. They're called Entheos, and they were like this kind of cool tech death band. And they were sounded pretty good, and then they went to Cult Leader, which beautiful. They were crazy and insane and brutal, just brutal.
Oh yeah, Cult Leader are awesome.
Yeah, I love. And then they played this band called Oh Brother, which was it's like this really cool rock band. And
I've never heard of them.
Oh my god, I'll have to show you Oh Brother. They're amazing. And then like, you know, so it kind of went like it was like up and then down, and then Dillinger went on, and then it just went straight up. I feel like that's really the perfect lineup of just having like, you know, start out high energy, kind of dip down, and then just dip right back up. It's perfect. It's like, you know, mastering an album. You kind of want the waves.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. It was just, yeah, after that super high energy, because they finished off with Concubine, of course.
Holy shit.
And just, the whole venue went nuts, obviously. Just, the whole, like, the whole thing was a mosh pit. There was no getting out of it. Like, the whole audience turned into a mosh pit when that song came on. Even the people who are like, I don't want to be in a mosh pit. They're just like, nah, fuck it. This song's too awesome. And then, yeah, Neurosis came on. It's just this, yeah, sludgy, doomy shit. And I'm just like, after this high energy stuff that we've been listening to for the past hour and a half, they played a long time. I was just like, this is boring. And there's just nothing sticking out. There wasn't anything where it was just like, oh, you know, during Converge, I was like, you know, Kurt's playing his ass off, Jacob's screaming like a fucking maniac. You know, we got Octopus in the background, and then Nate rattling my rib cage with the goddamn the bass. Just, I don't know. I feel like Neurosis just, I don't know. This is gonna sound dumb because this is usually what people want, but I don't usually like this. You know, maybe controversial, but they just played their songs live, and that was it. Like, there's no flourish to it. Like, I don't know. Does that make any sense? Like, Converge, I feel like just, you know, obviously they played their songs, but they just added energy to it. Whereas I think Neurosis were just like, okay, we're gonna play songs off our like past 6 records or whatever, and you're gonna like them because you like our songs. Whereas Converge are just like putting on a show.
Yeah,
like they're trying to get everyone just like fucking moshing and punching the shit out of each other.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I've seen a couple bands that were like on you know, I know that Neurosis wasn't on like train tracks, like, you know, like to like a click and stuff. I know, but I know what you mean, where they just kind of played their songs and it wasn't like put anything out there, or, you know, like they didn't do a live performance. They just did a performance.
Yeah, it was just like, let's play our songs, guys, and like at the end they're like, oh, thank you for showing up, buy our merch, bye.
Yeah, The I have I kind of get like I have a surprising like opposite. I saw Meshuggah live, and their whole thing is on a train set or like on a train track where it's like everything is like pre-programmed in MIDI and they play to a click track and everything, but they still somehow made it amazing. Like they were just so brutal and so chaotic. But I've seen other bands do the same exact thing, but they were just like, I was just watching and I was like, all right, this is cool, but this is boring. Like, this isn't, there's nothing new. Everything is the same. But for some reason, I guess it's Meshuggah being Meshuggah, but they played everything exactly like the album, but for some reason it was amazing. I don't even think they missed a note, honestly. It was insane.
I think that has to do with Meshuggah being a ridiculous, like, crazy, octopus drumming, shred solos all the time band. Whereas, yeah, Neurosis is like, stoner music. Not really, but, you know what I mean, though. It's like, it's slow, it's like melodic. There's, transition passages and shit like that. Where it's like, something like that, you have to put something into it. Like, because Amun Ra's performance, it wasn't a super high energy, but like I said, they wove everything together really nicely. I don't know if they just played one record. I didn't recognize any of the songs. So I don't know if they were just playing one record back to front. But either way, they were... Their show wasn't high energy, but they were, like, really into it. Like, the singer dude was like, God, I thought his head was going to pop off. He was headbanging so hard.
Yeah, I that was the same thing with Cult Leader. Like they weren't super high energy or like high movement. The bass player headbanged and stuff, but like they just like were standing up there and you could tell they were just like they just looked badass. You know what I mean? They just like stood up there and they're just like fuck yeah. And it was just like, well, hell yeah. And that it just made me want to go punch some people, But they didn't do a whole lot of headbanging. The singer did this cool thing where he like gets on his knees like in between a song and he's just like looking, he's just like perched over and it looks really cool and ominous. Yeah. But I don't know. I think it's just it really just has to go down to how the set or the set like who's playing before who, cuz like whenever you're like I feel like your headliner should really be like the high energy craziness, not the low melodramatic thing. And if you're like a headlining low melodramatic band, or not melodramatic, but you know what I mean, like just a low doom band, I feel like you should have cleaner acts before you, like a rock a couple rock bands before you, and then that nasty sludge metal doom to make it like really stand out and be bold.
Yeah, not fucking hardcore punk music like Converge. It's just, it was too stark of a change. And also, I'm not the only one. I'm not crazy, because a lot of people started to leave once Neurosis started. Like, after Neurosis' like second song, a lot of people started to leave. And that's pretty much when I left. I think I got into their like third or fourth song. I'm just like, I'm not into this. Like, this is boring. Like, granted, it kind of sucks that it kind of paid a little bit too much, because I kind of paid half for Neurosis. But I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. I saw Converge and I fucking moshed my ass off. So, oh man, when Eye of the Coral came on, that's not even like I think that song's like good. I didn't love it. But when that came on and the chorus came on, I just looked like off to like over my shoulder. I was like, oh God, I'm going to die. And sure enough, I got ripped into the mosh. I'm just like, oh well. Being grounded in reality is over.
Yeah, honestly, that was the same thing with Mastodon. They played the March of the Fire Ants or whatever, which I like that song. I'm not a huge fan of it. Like, if I had to choose between March of the Fire Ants and Blood and Thunder, I'd choose Blood and Thunder every time, just in general. But like when they played March of the Fire Ants, because I wasn't a huge fan of it at the time, when they played it, I was just like, holy shit. That's why they wrote this song for live, because it's just holy shit. It was so badass when it was just like holy shit, man, it was crazy. I was just like, all right, I get it now. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, like I said, that's the exact same situation. I was like, Eye of the Coral, I like it, you know. It's a cool song, whatever, but it wasn't like I like stuff like Archipov Common, I Can Tell You About Pain and stuff like that, and Broken by Light and whatever. But then when that song came on, you know, it's a high energy song, just like or whatever. I just realized I just sang the thing that Dark Horse.
Yeah.
I just realized they are kind of similar. But anyway, but yeah, when the chorus came on, I just like felt the whole crowd pulsing. I was like, oh my god, what is happening?
Yeah. I'll never ever get another feeling like when I saw Dillinger Escape playing live, because it was the same thing of like,
Jesus.
like, it took forever for them to set up, and it was getting like really taxing, where it was just like, oh my god. But then you hear like, you just start hearing feedback of just, and then like your chest is vibrating, and then everything was just like, holy fucking shit. And then just they opened up with Limerick Death, and like just that's off their newest, that was like one of the singles off their last record.
Oh, okay, that's probably why I don't know.
And like they kicked it off, and like just hardly 2 notes into the song, everybody's just freaking out. Like everywhere is a mosh pit. There's not a place that isn't a mosh pit, you know what I mean? It was amazing. And then like they had such a diverse set, because they'll have like Limerick Death and like Prancer and One of Us is the Killer, and then they'll go into like One of Us is the Killer, and then Black Bubblegum. That's one of my most proudest moments, is like I can say I was one of the last people to ever crowd surf to Black Bubblegum, or it was either Black Bubblegum or Milk Lizard. That's such a surreal thing.
Either one is like an accomplishment, because both of those are fucking killer.
Yeah, it was Milk Lizard, and it was just like, oh my god, it was so cool.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Yeah, they had a gate at the concert for Converge.
Yeah,
it was like, oh.
Yeah, they had a gate at Mastodon, and that was I enjoyed Mastodon a lot, but I was at the gate, like I was up first row, and I was just getting smashed into the gate. Like I had next day, I was just covered in bruises on my knees. I was just like, holy shit.
Yeah, I was right against the gate as well. It's like slightly off to the right, so I like had a perfect view of both. Like there's kind of a tall-ish dude like right in front of me, sort of like off, like I had my hands on the gate, but there's a guy like kind of taller to me off to my right, but like I could angle myself just right so I could look over to the right and see Kurt, and I can look over to the left and see like Jacob and the other guys doing their thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this is perfect.
Yeah, it was really badass for Mastodon, because I was right in front of Troy, so I could just look dead ahead, see Troy, look a little bit behind, see Braun, and then look to the left and see Brent, and right Bill, and it was just like, holy shit. And then like there was a couple times where Brent and I made eye contact, and I cried a little bit on the inside, I'll be honest with you, because you know, he's playing his Silver Burst Flying V's, and I'm just like, oh my god, I want to cry.
Oh yeah,
so badass.
Yeah, I know. Oh yeah, I think I told you, but I don't think I explained it. But me and Jacob had like one of those type of bro moments where it was I think it was during I Can Tell You About Pain, which is like probably my favorite song off the new record. Like, oh my god, it's so good. And like during the chorus, of course everyone was just screaming at it, but he's just looking at me during one of the choruses. I'm just fucking belting it back at him, and he's just like, once it's over, he just kind of like does it sort of like half laugh. I was just like, oh I'm crying.
Oh, yeah, that's badass. That's super badass. I always love doing that with bands. Like I I'd make eye contact with the guitar player to Entheos, and he was just genting away on his Misha Mansour. He had a Misha Mansour Jackson, and I just looked at him and I was like, nice guitar, and he was like, thanks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I just like pointed at the guitar and I was like, nice guitar, and he just like looked and he just mouthed off thanks, and he just went back to genting away, and I was like, hell yeah. Hell yeah. But yeah.
It's like the teenage girl, like, he noticed me.
And then
That's literally what it was for me. I was just like, oh my god, I just screamed the chorus to like damn near my favorite Converge song to the fucking singer.
yeah, I went back and I bought a Cult Leader hoodie, the singer to Cult Leader. It was such a surreal moment. I was just like, oh, whoo, this is crazy.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I'd love to meet those dudes.
The singer to Cult Leader was super nice. He was super chill dude. Like I was just like, that was a great show, and he's like, oh, thanks man, thank you. And it's just like, you don't expect that from a dude who's going you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really badass. And also he's tiny. He's like my height. I'm like 5'6", so he had to been like, I think I was like 5'5" at the time. So he was like, yeah, my height. He was like 5'5" or 5'6", so he's really tiny. It's weird.
Is he really?
Yeah. Same with Corey Taylor of Slipknot. I met him, and he's about my height too, and it's weird.
What?
Yeah.
What the fuck? I picture him being huge.
No, it's funny because you like look at band pictures, and it's like Corey and the DJ Sid are just like little short guys, and then like Mick and Jim, who are like 6-something, are just like towering over them. God, those.
Who's the one with the needles in his head?
Oh, that's Craig. That's like the.
I like how he has just a normal white name.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just Craig. Yeah,
that's just Craig.
I don't even know what I really don't really. He pretty much just pushes one button, and that's about it.
Yeah.
But they're like, give them shit all you want. Like they like the guitars are really, those dudes are insane. Like, just like they can shred, and then they can just do nasty, fucking just some of the nastiest riffs you'll ever hear. It's really impressive.
Yeah. I'll never be able to get over that.
Yeah, Craig.
This fucking scariest dude in Slipknot's called Craig.
And then I remember I saw them live, and Lamb of God opened up for them, and I'm not like a huge Lamb of God fan. Like I like them, but they're kind of just like every metal band. You know what I mean? They're kind of not super distinguishable from most commercial metal bands, but live, they're badass live. And I actually met Willie Adler and the other guitar player Mark. I can't remember his last name. They were super cool, super chill.
Oh yeah.
I remember it was a guitar clinic, and we were able to ask them questions and stuff, and it was crazy because I went with my whole old band, and the drummer Bennett, he there was a raffle to get a pedal. It was the Mesa Boogie throttle box, because it was like a sponsored by Mesa Boogie guitar clinic, and
sure.
the people were a boogie dealer, and
Right.
the one person who won that guitar pedal was the one person who didn't play guitar. It was really funny.
Yeah. That's great. He's just like, what do I do with this?
Pretty much. I was like, hey, I'll buy it off of you, and I got it for like, I think it was like $100 cheaper than what it's actually paid for. So that was pretty
those
cool.
things are like $250.
I think I got it for like 100 or 150. That's a decent pedal.
Yeah, not too bad.
I'm not a huge pedal distortion fan, to be honest with you. I like overdrives, but I'm not like, like a distortion pedal fan, besides like fuzzes.
Oh man, I love them. I'm kind of the opposite. I don't really care for fuzz. I think fuzz sounds too like bee in a can, wasp in a can, whatever. Whereas if you get something really just gnarly, like the Iron Horse, or what's the Earthquaker one? Shit. What's their really heavy high gain distortion from Earthquaker?
I can't
it's black.
remember.
Is it the Nightmare? I don't remember. Well, they have the Crimson Drive. That's not the one I'm thinking of, though. I don't know. Whatever. But, God, I love playing with those things. Especially the Iron Horse. And even the Russian Big Muff. You can get some, obviously you can get that squeaky kind of, Gretsch tone out of it. But then you can get some just regular distortion out of it if you tweak the knobs, the right way.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not a big fan because, like, whenever I play through a distortion pedal and then I click it off and go to, like, an actual, my amp distortion, I'm just like, to me, that just sounds so much better than the pedal. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know. Something about it. Like, don't get me wrong. I think they sound cool, but it's just, I don't know. For me, I just much prefer, I'd rather have, like, a 3-channel amp than, like, 1 or 2 channels and pedals. But, I don't know. I don't know if it's, I just can't get them to sound good, or if it's, like, or, I don't know. Or if it's just my ear. I don't know.
I don't know. It's just preference, probably. I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, like, I don't know. To me, there's nothing better than like a 5150 or a dual rectifier distortion channel. It sounds so good. I really want to get
rectum fire.
Yeah, I really want to get a dual rectifier, man. I remember I played one 2 years back, and it sounded so badass. But at the same time, there's so much. That's the thing with with boogies is, how they have such crazy wiring schemes.
Yeah. Yeah. Do I
Like,
ever?
Like, everything has a switch. The thing with that is if your amp has a problem, that usually it's like a nightmare to get to the problem because there's so much. There's so much to like circumvent and being like, oh my god, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's a nightmare to try to fix it. I'm looking after my friend's boogie right now, and it's just like I'm terrified to put it down because I'm just like, I have to put it down so slowly because I'm like, if something gets fucked up, I'm not fixing it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think my favorite tone is still 5150. I don't know if it's just because I've heard it on a billion records, or if it's for my tone it works best. But it's something about it just so. My favorite thing is to do a blend of that and a Marshall. Just a 5150 and a Marshall blended together. To me, nothing sounds better than that, because you get that nice big old thick kind of mushy tone from the Marshall, and then you get that that cut, like stabbing you with a knife tone from the 5150. It's just it's just a sledgehammer and a knife put together.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's.
I was trying to think, because I was at the guitar shop earlier today. Just kind of, I don't know. I've grown to hate going in there now, just because, like, it's not a super big shop, and they're always just looking at me like, we know you're not going to buy anything, get out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I usually end up just kind of hiding in the acoustic room and bringing electrics in there when I feel like it, because I hate them watching me. It pisses me off.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of get it, because it's like, yeah, you have to run a business, but at the same time, like, you don't have to look at me as if I'm like a bad person because I'm not buying anything. Like, sorry, I don't own an electric. Like, my bad. I'm not here anyway. They're all, parents' house, but.
Yeah. Also, it's like, why be on someone's bad side? Because also, I mean, for one thing, you're not hurting anybody, and also another thing is like, whenever you inevitably buy something, don't they want you to be to go to them, not someone else, because they're being dicks? Believe me, I'm the same way with the Guitar Center near my house, or well, not near my house, but the one closest to my house. Is just like every time I go there, there's such assholes, and it's like I've gotten to the point where I just buy stuff off of Sweetwater, or I pretty much just go in there for strings, and that's about it. You know what I mean? Like, because they're shitty and they take forever.
Yeah, that's all I've ever bought at this place near my house. It's just strings. I think I bought strings there like once.
Yeah, like
yeah, because I don't know. I just like playing guitars. Is that a crime? Apparently.
Yeah, and also I don't know. I feel like you want your business to look like it has a lot of people in there, because people I'm the opposite, where if I see a crowd, I'm running away. But a lot of people, if they see a crowd, they're gonna join the crowd.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a needed thing. But yeah, same thing with that is like, I would rather go down to, I would rather go down to Sam Ash to see if there's a guitar or an amp I want to buy, over going to the Guitar Center and like having to deal with their just ridiculousness. Like
yeah.
Like the amp, like my 5150 has an amp switcher, and it has like a 7-pin DIN MIDI cable. So it's like a 7-pin MIDI cable. So those aren't like easy to find. So you have to only order them online. And I was like, I'm not gonna pay for this because I spent $1,000 on that, or on my 5150. Yeah. So it's like, give me the cable, and like they ordered the cable and it's the wrong cable, so I had to return it, and then like have to wait another like 2 or 3 weeks to get the right cable. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just a case of them being almost too big for their own good, where they think they can get away with that type of shit. To be fair, like the place I work, we do that bullshit, like misplacing orders and stupid shit like that, and it pisses people off. It pisses me off, and it's not even my stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, yeah, like I'm with the customer on this one. That's a dick move. Like, why did we do that?
Yeah, that's another place. Going into that, and so Guitar Center has like you can like get like the pro coverage or whatever, and one of my amps, I have a Marshall JTM 30 combo amp, and for some reason, like I'll be playing it, and then like the volume will just go away, and then it'll take like a minute or two, and it'll come back eventually. And I had pro coverage on it, so I had them go, like I gave it to them, and I was like, here, can you fix the amp? And they're like, no, you have to go to this other place, because that's where you go to get your amp fixed, and it's called Audio Electronics, and that place is a nightmare. I think my amp was there for like 2 months, I want to say, and they didn't even fix the problem. Like, I brought it there, like, okay, it'll be about a week, and then I call in a week, and they're like, oh, we're kind of busy, we haven't been able to touch it. And then it was just that after that, and I was a bit younger, so I didn't know that they were screwing me over, and and it just got to the point where like they didn't do anything with my amp, and I just went over there and grabbed my amp because they just didn't do anything. And like they said, like it was just ridiculous. I'd never go to Audio Electronics because they're terrible.
They didn't charge you, did they?
No, because I have pro coverage with Guitar Center, so the pro coverage covered it, would have covered it if they did anything. I wonder if they took the money. That would be an interesting thing.
Oh, what do you mean took the money? Took the money from the pro coverage thing? Or
yeah,
what?
If they took the Guitar Center money and didn't fix the amp.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
But ironically, a dude who used to work there, I live in and there's this small amp fixing company called Amp, and they're great. They worked with me, like, I dropped off my amp. and it's like a free. They'll look and see what the problem is for free, and then they'll charge you, or they'll give you an estimate, and then they'll charge you and stuff like that. And I got everything.
See, that's what they should do.
Yeah, and I remember I had a Laney, and it just stopped working. Like, it would turn on but no sound. And
Right.
they fixed it, and like it just only took like a week, and they called and everything, and they were great. Same with Sweetwater. Every time I order Sweetwater, or order from Sweetwater, it's the best, because they'll text, they'll give me a call, which sometimes I'm not a huge fan of, because I'm busy and I don't like to talk to people. But yeah, they'll call me and be like, oh, hey, this and this and this, or if I'm like low on money, they'll work with me or something like that. It's great.
Oh yeah, Sweetwater are awesome. I love Sweetwater.
And they give you goddamn candy every time you order from there.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah, I remember French horn shit from Sweetwater, and yeah, they'd always come with these little candies in them. I would always steal them.
Yeah, it's great. It just worked. Like, that's the what I would consider like a great company, because they're big enough to where they can do enough, but they're small enough to where they're not a shit. They're not pieces of garbage. They're just great dudes trying to work.
Yeah, it's like the difference between like Earthquaker and someone like Boss, whereas Boss can get away with making, let's be real, pretty shit pedals a lot of the time. And then Earthquaker, I don't know if you knew this, but they actually, if you take off the back plate, there's custom drawings inside every back plate.
That's pretty badass. I'm actually after the podcast is done, I'm gonna open it up. Look.
Yeah, I think it's Earthquake. It's either Earthquaker or Walrus that have like every single one of their pedals has a custom drawing on the inside.
That's super badass. Yeah, I agree with you on the Boss thing. Like, I love Boss pedals, but some of them are just, oh my god, I don't even know.
Yeah, it's like, why are you still selling this piece of shit? Like, no one likes this.
Yeah, but then I don't know. I just love Boss. I love their delays and their reverbs, because they sound like a Boss and like a Boss delay and a Boss reverb sound like Boss. They don't sound like, you know what I mean? They don't just sound like any reverb.
Oh yeah.
Which is really interesting. Like, it's interesting how they can have their own certain tone, and I actually really like it. But yeah, they definitely have some pedals on the market. Like, they have like a they have like a Boss fuzz, and it's just like,
that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, it's like this thing is a piece of garbage. Come on, get some. Come on.
Yeah, and like you have shit like the Metal Zone and like the distortion is fine. It's not great. It's not shit. I mean, it sounds fine. It's baby's first distortion pedal, really. It's like it's the classic distortion pedal, I guess. But yeah, that fuzz thing is, Jesus fucking Christ. The weird thing with fuzz is you either get the stupid boutique ones that are like $500, or you get shit like Boss that's like just doesn't work properly.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the only fuzz that's reliable is a goddamn Big Muff, or like those way huge swollen pickles and stuff.
Oh yeah, I really liked the swollen pickle. It was a little bit too tight for me. Like, if I want a fuzz, I just want something ridiculous. That's why I went with the MXR, or not the MXR, sorry, the Electro Harmonics. It's like the Billy Corgan's signature.
Oh yeah, his Big Muff, right?
The Big Muff Pie thing.
Yeah.
It sounds so good. Like, it's literally that Smashing Pumpkins tone in a box. It's great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I don't care what you say about Billy Corgan. His voice is garbage.
Oh yeah, no, that's like, I like some of their songs, but yeah, other times it's just like I can't get past his voice. It's just too much.
Yeah, my dad loves them.
I'm 50-50 on them. I like Melancholy of Sadness, and then I like Siamese Dream, and that's about it. I think that's what most people though.
Yeah, those are like their high water marks.
Yeah, and then everything else is just eh.
Yeah, it's just like it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't listened to a whole lot. I've listened to maybe a total of like half dozen songs by them throughout my life. Because I used to have is it 1979? I used to have that on my iPod, fucking Nano back in grade 6 or whatever. As well as the song Tonight by them, and then of course Cherub Rock was on Guitar Hero 3.
Oh yeah, ooh, yeah, man.
That's a jam.
Yeah, it is. So we've hit about an hour. Do you think we should wrap it up?
Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah, it's been about an hour and a half now on mine. Granted, I have 12 minutes of absolute AIDS at the start, but it's gonna sound like I'm a maniac, just laughing, like scream laughing to myself, which I think is incredible.
Well, I've been Brian.
I've been Andrew. This has been episode 2 of the Jam Factory podcast. Any sort of plans for the next one? I can't really think of anything. These usually bounce off into another world once we start talking about music stuff.
I don't know anything off the top of my head. I'm gonna do some more research and I'll text you about it. But yeah. Anyways, later, y'all.
All right, later.